Yesterday, the Milwaukee Bucks faced the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns beat them 125-124. Giannis had 47 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 assists. And even with his gaudy stats, when the game was in his final possession and Giannis got the ball and he dribbled to the free throw line and shot a free throw line jumper, I screamed. And I screamed because I had money on the game. I was betting on the game. I'm newly into betting now. And
did you win anything yesterday?
No, I did not. And I was newly into betting. Giannis shot a jump shot for the win. And once he shot it, I knew that he wasn't going to make it. And Devin Booker was under the same impression. And that's where this topic is coming from. What do you think the biggest concern for the Milwaukee Bucks is? For me, I'll just say it right now. I think my biggest concern with the Milwaukee Bucks is that their best player is not their closer. Chris Middleton is the guy that you're going to give the ball to when you need a last-second shot, especially from the three. And I know, Riv, you like that Giannis got the ball because he needs to be more comfortable in those situations. But I think what's going to hurt them right now is that Giannis is not a closer, and he has not been a closer to this point in his career.
Yeah, I want him, just like Riv tweeted last night, I want Giannis taking all of those shots in the regular season because it kind of reminds me of Jason Tatum getting the last-second shot against Giannis on, I believe, opening night or the night after opening night. Like, that's a shot that you give your guy early in the season to let him know you're our guy. Like, you're going to get that shot the rest of the season. Get that confidence up. And even though he missed it, you put it in his hands. It's not like it's not like the locker room is going to be questioning now, like, is it Chris Middleton? Is it Giannis? You know, who is our go-to guy down the stretch? So I think that even though it didn't go in and it didn't look pretty, it was a smart move to give him the ball in that final possession. But I agree. Giannis has to get better at closing out games. There's no question about it. And I'm not usually a guy to buy into playoff struggles or somebody folding in the playoffs, but it's got to be a concern looking back 2 playoffs in a row now and seeing a pretty clear blueprint on how to stop the Giannis Antetokounmpo-led Bucks. And it's a tough blueprint to match, but the blueprint's there, and Giannis has to be able to work outside of the box to, work around that, and he hasn't shown the ability to do that to this point, so it would be a concern. But still, to me, the Bucks are one of the 2 scariest teams in the East to me as a Net fan.
I was always under the belief that if your closer in the game is Chris Middleton, you won't go very far. I used to preach that. And then, like I said last night when I tweeted it, I want Giannis taking that shot. He has to get comfortable taking that shot. He's their franchise player. He's the best player on the team. He needs to be taking a shot. And I thought it was a good shot. His jump shot is just broke. I thought it was a good pull-up. He had enough space to hit the shot. He just can't shoot. And that is going to lead to why I think the Bucks have these issues. It's Giannis' limited skill. I think that's going to always haunt them. Giannis' inability to shoot the jump shot, whether it be the 3-ball or the free throw, he just can't shoot outside the paint. And it kind of reminds me of Shaq-like in a sense, but Shaq was a center. This guy's kind of a wing. So it's weird that a wing can't shoot like that. But I think with this team, Chris Middleton being your closer, it's going to be hard to finish games. And now with the Nets having 3 of the top 5, 6 closers in the NBA in Harden, Kyrie, and KD. Jason Tatum is starting to fill up that role as a closer. Jimmy Butler, we know he's a closer. It's going to be hard to beat these teams down the stretch when you have a guy like Chris Middleton taking those shots.
I disagree with you. I don't think Giannis is a wing. I think he is a big man.
I'm saying like what he's a big now, but coming in he was a wing.
Yes, I agree, but that's because we did not know he was going to get this strong or grow this tall. Yeah. But in terms of his skill set, like he is a big man just in this modern era. I do think it's a concern that he can't close out games, but I will say this, Jack, I think you overcomplicated a little bit when you said outside the box, inside the box. You made that because I don't think it's that complicated. He just needs to get a jump shot. That's all it is. I don't think
that's hard to do.
Yes, yeah. I know that's hard to do, but I don't think Giannis has to sit down and stare at film for hours and try to cultivate a perfect game plan. I just think he needs to become a better shooter. And it sounds very simple, but that's exactly what he needs to do. When you look at right now, like regular season wise, and you look at their stats, they look like a legitimate team. First in points per game, second in field goal percentage, third in 3-point percentage, second in rebounds per game, fourth in assists per game, seventh in steals per game. And right now, they're first in offensive rating, seventh in defensive rating. Giannis is playing out of his mind. He's having another MVP-like season, but because we know the MVP is predicated on narratives, he won't win it again. Middleton is in a 50-40-90 club. Holiday's playing great. They have a bench now, but the last 2 seasons, losing 4 straight to Toronto, then against Miami, getting upset even though Giannis was injured. You got to wonder whether it's Mike Budenholzer or it's Giannis's limitations or it's both, because Budenholzer has had some questionable coaching decisions in the playoffs versus the Raptors. I think he left Eric Bledsoe in the game way too long. But I think it's a concern. On paper, in the regular season, this team looks...
It's probably the best team in the league.
Yes. Over the past 2 seasons, they've had the best record. But in the playoffs, we just cannot trust them. And I don't think anybody has been trusting them in the playoffs for the past couple of years.
I think, like you said with Bledsoe, I think he was a problem for them the last 2 years, and they filled that hole up by getting Drew Holiday. I think they didn't have enough shooters last year. Chris Middleton went cold against Miami, and they brought in Brian Forbes and these other guys. I think that was good for Bryn Forbes and these other guys. So I think that was good for him. I think this year really is going to come down. Giannis said he was going to stay. He committed to this franchise. Now you have to put this team on your back. And it, like we said before, there is a blueprint to stop Giannis in the playoffs. And it's a blueprint that he can easily stop if he develops a jump shot. We're not even asking him to be a 36, 37% three-point shooter, just a consistent mid-range shooter, free throw shooter, and then maybe you could hit 32, 33 from the three-point line. The fact that he has to post up and just straight dominate the paint, and the fact that he can't hit a free throw jump shot is very suspect, and it's going to hurt his team down the stretch.
Yeah, he's at a 27% three-point shooter right now. If he could even get that up to like 30, which I don't think is too crazy to ask.
He was there last year.
Yeah, if he can get up to like 30, 33%, that's enough that you have to respect it. And a lot of teams, I feel like, will still let him beat them from the three-point line, but 33% from 3 is a good number, especially being surrounded by great three-point shooters. So, I don't know. It's going to be difficult. The one good thing is I think the team to beat in the Eastern Conference is the Nets, and depending on what they do at the deadline / buyout market / what DeAndre Jordan decides he wants to be down the stretch, they don't have that big man that I think is very important in the blueprint to stop Giannis. So I think that would be a very interesting series, just in the sense that the Nets don't have that dependable big man like the Heat had in Bam Adebayo and the Raptors had in Serge Ibaka and Marc Gasol. So
yeah, I've seen Nets fans talk about they're scared of Indiana, they're scared of Philly. I was not under that belief. I'm under the belief that the Bucks, even though Giannis, we talk about his struggles, they are on paper and in terms of personnel, the scariest team for the Nets. I'm not under the belief that the Pacers or Philly or even Miami, I don't think they're dangerous enough to be able to compete with the Nets. I think the Bucks are the only team.
I would also
Sixers
put
too.
Philly up there. I would put Philly
It's just
up there.
Ben Simmons. Like, it's Philly, you could say Philly.
But I said this about Ben Simmons. I think that him playing passive this year has been the best thing for them because Tobias Harris is playing great.
Yeah.
They're shooting the ball pretty well as a team, and Joel Embiid is playing awesome. And that's
I mean,
going to be a tough matchup.
Joel
for
Embiid
him.
is another guy who struggles in the playoffs. So that's, but I could see Philly. I could definitely see Philly.